to keep all their purpose divine. Their mission to keep all their purpose divine. Guided by reason they stand tall. Guided by reason they stand tall. Agents of the logos, guardians of the light. Standing strong and true, in unity they shine. Against chaos and disorder they die. Protectors of the straight path, their mission is fine. In the face of adversity, they remain. Agents of the logos, defenders of the straight line. Embracing the challenge, they continue to refine. Their commitment unwavering, their purpose divine. In the pursuit of order, they will always align. In a world of curves and bends, they stay true. With clarity and focus, they see through. Their resolve unbreakable, their hearts pure and blue. With unwavering loyalty, they pursue. In the face of adversity, they remain. Agents of the logos, defenders of the straight line. Embracing the challenge, they continue to refine. Their commitment unwavering, their purpose divine. In the pursuit of order, they will always align. In the face of adversity, they remain. Agents of the nobles, defenders of the straight line. Embracing the challenge, they continue to refine their commitment unwavering, their best divine. In the pursuit of order, they will always align.
And we are live. Welcome everyone. Free for all Friday. I've got a little thing to go over. Hopefully, back on the whiteboard in a bit. So if you want to come on in on the level Discord, come on in, get involved, and go to the Buster, and we'll be back shortly.
I've been doing this for 4 fucking years. You didn't fucking get it by now. Get the fuck out of here.
Off to the rest of your spastics and tell them you can do nothing. Yeah, you can, you stuttery. Yes, that's it. Fuck off. Go away. Tell people you can't do it. Your stupid globe, and I know you'll never back your claims. Fuck off. Back to your spastic retard.
Yeah, whatever, Nathan. You're a genius.
That's my fucking argument and demonstration of being a spastic.
Demeaning our argument with statements like, you can do fuck all with an angle.
So communicating the angle of
What can you do with an angle?
Shut up. Bitch, shut your fucking mouth. Nobody was talking.
You shut the fuck up, Nathan.
I'll remove you if you don't shut up while I talk to Beth.
I will do what the fuck I like. Beth, you've been talking. You say to the North, fuck all with an angle, and then mention me in that. You are personally in talking. Therefore, I'm going to take a strip on you based on your ignorance of that angle. That's what I'm going to do. Or you stuff it. Okay? So that would be doing something with an angle, wouldn't it, then? Yeah, it would, you stupid fucking retard. So our problem isn't with you personally, it's with you being stupid. Not understanding that you can do something with an angle. An elevation angle measure can find your position on the flat plate. That's it. You don't understand this, and you're attempting to demean our argument. Statements of stupidity, like you can do fuck all with an angle. You can do lots with an angle, unless you're a fucking retard, like you. You can measure your position on Earth by way of elevation angles. That is doing something with an angle. Zero comprehension of the argument that we put across. Our responses to his claim.
Right, Bev, you can measure and find your position on the flat plane with an elevation angle.
Talk about your 2D surface.
It's called Adam Flat Earth side.
You ain't got no purpose in life.
Fuckwits, you told you not explain the argument. The spastics I'm telling you to go back to. Did they not comprehend the argument and put it across to you? You're surrounded by fucking retards then. Clearly, we had an argument. I've given it to you now.
Learn the fucking scientific method or get the fuck out of here.
I'm not surprised. Listen to you lot. You go fucking mental over a simple geometric fact. You've got a third of a triangle, yet you're doing magic with it.
Adam, you're Flat Earth Society, mate.
It's called Adam Flat Earth Society.
Call QE Owen a wanker all you like, yeah?
Okay, well, while Bev's here, I just want to say, if you're subscribed to Bev, you're a
So
spastic
fuck
like
off!
Bev, because he's going to make you stupid, like he's making all of us stupid. Unsubscribe to him immediately. Definitely don't give him any money, because the guy's a fucking retard. He's going to make you more stupid, and he's going to either be conveying his stupidity to you to soak up,
Adam,
or he's
you're
fucking
Flat
lying
Earth
to you.
Society, mate.
Either way, he's poison.
Flat Earth endorsement. Thank you very much,
Shut up,
Nathan.
Bev, while I tell my audience
So
to
fuck off!
unsubscribe from you and never give you any money.
Oh,
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
me
your
your
audience.
audience.
While I tell you to shut up, Bev, I'll tell my audience, you, Bev, are a fucking thicko, and nobody should subscribe to you.
Just living in reality, mate. Don't worry.
Shut up. I'll tell the audience that you're fucking thick and they should say, fuck off! Stubborn. Spoiled bitch. Excuse me, daddy. Adam Flat Earth side. Kick him out. He's a fucking retard. He doesn't belong here. He's a spastic. Another Adam. He's attacked Andrew and me, and then Adam again with Adam bombs. I haven't just called Bev a spastic. I called Adam Flat Earth side. Can't do anything with an angle. An angle will be acquired through a star and a GP on a plane. That's an argument. It's an ad bomb.
I think you guys are having a communication problem.
No, then we're fucking wrong.
So fuck off!
Dead air again. Shut up! Everybody else, can you shut the fuck up? Free ad bombs.
So fuck off!
Yeah, you need other things sometimes. When you oversimplify it now, only. That means you don't understand the principle of celestial navigation. That's what we were pointing out there. I think you personally, where you get your pants in a bunch about you as an individual. Like we give a fuck. Like we give a fuck about you and your personal problems about how people talk about you. You are a wanker, and we will treat you like a wanker because that's how wankers get treated. Personally. Well, this fucking stupid bitch attacks everybody personally. It's called Adam Flat Earth describes how the use of an angle to find your position on a flat plane when measuring it through the star of a singular angle at that point is useful because it will use the angle singular to support your position at sea on a plane. So that's an argument. It's not me just calling him thick like you just called Adam Flat Earth Society.
Sick of this shit. Not you, Nathan.
Understand? It was an argument against his assertion that you can do nothing with an angle. You can. You can save your life at sea by measuring that angle from the star. Called Adam Flat Earth Society. What does text do?
Measures angles.
You can do fuck all with an angle, Bad. He said you can do fuck all with an angle, and he is wrong.
Not you, Nathan. I'm talking to everyone.
And my fucking balls taste you unbelievable spastic.
Just an angle, Nathan. No need to get upset about it. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Yeah.
Are we?
You can do fuck all with an angle.
I can demonstrate what you can do with an angle.
You've got one angle. What are you doing with it? What are you? How do you draw a circle with an angle?
You just don't know what.
How do you draw a circle with an angle?
Understand? It was an argument against his assertion that you can do nothing with an angle. You can. You can save your life at sea by measuring that angle to the star. Communication of an angle that you've measured. That's not doing something with it, right, Bev? You fucking retard, you spastic, you dumbo, you thick fuck. Shut up, Owen!
You can do fuck all with an angle.
And welcome back. That's just a little bit of a warm up because, yeah, I think we're going to be going over the angle tonight. I don't know how to make it any more simpler. I have been saying for quite a bit that you can do fuck all with an angle. And Nathan sort of treated it as a joke, and there's a lot of people who've taken it on. Listen to Nathan and Brian have it out. There was a couple of episodes where they publicly had a disagreement, let's say. It sounded like Brian was saying much the same as what we've said a bit ago, but Nathan says, you know, demeaning his argument when we said, you know, don't think you can really measure it flat, Nathan. I think that's a bit silly to be saying that. Nathan shouted us down. He libelled me, called me some horrible things. And the word's gone out to not bother talking to us. I've been banned subsequently from all sorts of things. I think it's because, like Nathan says, we demean his argument. But I don't think they have any arguments, to be honest. It's, Nathan says he's measuring it flat, and we'll go over that. But I've still got a bit of a snotty nose, so please forgive me if I'm sniffing. And if anybody does want to come in and have a discussion about this, I know it's a little bit tricky. I've been going out and talking to people about straight lines. I know we've been doing it for years. But, I mean, it keeps coming back round. And it's never really going to go away, this basic fundamental understanding of what a straight line is. So, I mean, we'll wait for a little bit longer, see if anybody else comes here and we get a bit more conversation about it. Because, I mean, it's not much use to going over it if nobody's listening. And I don't know whether anybody wants to listen. Maybe people want to just go along with what Nathan Oakley says. Keep having the same argument going over and over again and not understanding the principles behind it.
Well, it is Pride Month, so keep that in mind.
Yeah. I've sorted out a bit of an interview with a couple of people. I'm hoping to get into bit like the biblical cosmology thing. I think it's a little bit strange, but that will be coming round a little bit more. This biblical understanding, because I never really understood why people have this disagreement, right? Or what difference does it make, and all of that sort of stuff, like, because it's just people messing about with models. This sort of stuff. What difference does it make if somebody thinks, the Earth's flat, or if somebody else thinks the Earth's a globe? I mean, we're just living in reality, and it doesn't really make any difference to anyone. So I was just of the opinion that it didn't really make any difference. But to the people, the religious people, does it really? Does it matter? Does it make a difference if the heavens? I mean, is that classed as a lie? Somebody literally lying to you, telling you live on a globe if you believe that the heavens are situated in the sky, if you will, above. So I don't know.
Yeah, seems almost like a little battle for territory, sales territory. Two battling ice cream van out on the street. They had the ice cream wars in Glasgow in the 70s, where if you took your ice cream van on a certain street at the wrong time, you clashed with Mr. Whippy, then big fights ensued. And it feels a bit like, using the biblical thing to gain numbers, or
I wasn't looking at it like that. I was looking at it as though the biblical guys might have a case for being upset with the globe guys, right? Because
with the globe,
well, just the people that defend the globe, because it's a game to us, right? I've been in this for long enough to know that anybody, they just lie and cheat. They make stuff up. It doesn't really matter. to them. It's all a game. I was talking to Dawn this morning, and Dawn had seen a film that means that straight lines can be different. So Dawn was happy to just completely obfuscate the straight line this morning. But to a religious person, I mean, that's a lie about, you know, I don't know, it just seems like there's more into it. I can see the religious person getting upset with the lies and the deceit more than normal people. I suppose everybody gets upset at people lying to them, but you know what I mean?
I guess I was looking at it from the aspect. Yeah, because I was looking at the aspect of the arena. It seems like, you know, whose version of the Bible tells, you know, which shape best. Which, you know, is it flat in the Bible? Is it a sphere in the Bible? That seems to be going on. And I guess, you know, if people have a belief, if they just have a belief, or it said so in Genesis, then it must be a sphere, or it said so in Genesis, it must be flat, or whatever. You know, that there isn't need for proof. You just can believe it because it says so in the big book. So kind of one from there, yeah, from the biblical point of view, yeah, I mean, how much honesty is there in it? I mean, the guys we watched the other day, they seemed to Duffy and the Kingdom in Context guy, they both seem to be well versed on the models for sure, for you know, religious based people, you know. But I don't really know, you know, whose angle it is, whether it's to kind of get people more involved in the shape through a spiritual belief that it's so, or whether to use it from the arena's side to kind of, to say, oh, well, the Bible says it's flat, so you know, you don't need any evidence. Like, you know, like the maths thing and the geometry, you're gonna, you know, you'll talk about that. I was listening this morning, and they to an old, well, something was released yesterday, but you know, they were talking about stuff. How does how do you get the measurement of the flat Earth, which is based on the angle to the angle elevation angle to Polaris between Nord and 90. They then get 5,400 nautical miles for the flat Earth, and they were trying to work out how it correlated with the globe's circumference measurement, and trying to work it out, and nobody seemed to know what it was. And I thought, wow, after 10 years, they don't even understand this stuff, the basic stuff they seem to be talking about, you know. So, you know, if you just believe, and there's a lot of people seem to be just believing, you know, come out with a hashtag, nice, snappy little slogan, and people go along with it. But you ask, well, what does that mean? And don't really know. It says so in Genesis or whatever. You know, it's just can believe it. It feels like it could be something that makes it. Yeah, I mean, well, when I came into it, you know, talking about what do you believe and what do you know. You know, that all these people have been programmed, and you know, they've had the globe shoved down their throats since they were a child, and all that. And yeah, it seems that, you know, they're happy to carry on to have people believe in something and not actually know anything. So yeah, I mean, several angles on it, I guess. It seems like the belief bit is being pushed. That feels to me.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff going round, and I don't know whether people have built up reputations for certain things, and it seems like there's a fair few sycophants around flat Earth debate concerning whatever, right? You know, Nathan's arguments or QE's arguments, whatever, 10th man's sextant. And is that somebody taking it on? Because I've built this one today, Nathan's Paralogism, and he's just handing out this idea of something as though it's a good argument. Like you say, people just repeat it. I mean, people have been saying that the black swan is something, but I mean, who knows what it is? Who knows how to use it? And I bet there's not many. You know, they just think that the black swan proved the flat earth or something. I don't know what it did, like, or how it did it, but a lot of people just repeat that stuff.
Yeah. You know, the Earth's not a sphere. That's the only bit they've got from it. In a sense, that's the bottom line. Doesn't matter about what it means, or you know, if it's a fallacious statement or anything. You know, that's what they're the killer for every that they're using it for. It seems.
Yeah,
Just to be able to say
a
that. There you go, bang. It's not a
fallacious
sphere.
statement. You know, at the end, I mean, that is the fallacy, isn't it? Wrapped up within it, that flat earthers have been given, and now they think that proves something. But it just proves that they've been fooled by some flat earther. But I don't even know whether they are flat earthers, to be honest. They're blatantly lying to flat earthers. Does that make them flat earthers? Because they've told flat earthers that a fallacious argument is one of their best proofs. I mean, it's a joke.
Yeah, I must say I've noticed. Yeah. Well, you know, going on from that, you know, I've also noticed that, you know, since Nathan's, you know, regular 24/7 aggression fest, that seems, you know, I listen to 24/7 of, yeah, generally there where flat earthers are doing their thing, that they become more aggressive as well. So they kind of seem to be learning that. I mean, maybe that's happened in the past, but you know, it's just something I noticed. I thought, oh, they're now being given permission to shout at people more or shut them down more quickly and just abuse them and cut off the conversation. And I've noticed that that's been going on a bit more too. You know, just to cover the argument, because, you know, as you know, we've asked the question. We've asked Nathan those questions that Brian did the other day, but Brian was dealt with in a different way than Nathan dealt with us, or that he would with any other person, you know, generally who would come into his live or wherever they come across him. If you ask him a question, he'll try and shut you down, and they'll all jump on and pile on. But when it's somebody within, I know Brian said, "Oh, people say there's, you know, there's cracks in the community of FED," but you know, they are questioning it. They're not sure about it. They're definitely not certain about it. You know, with absolute certainty and no doubt, because they are questioning it, and it's not just. It doesn't seem to be just, well, we're just ironing out the little creases and you know, sharpening our sword or anything, because you know, there were the things that you'd spoken to them about, and I'd spoken to about in a much smaller degree than you over my little time, and well, we've just been banned and shut out for asking exactly the same questions that Brian was asking. In fact, you know, I'm surprised they didn't call him a Bevite because of it. But
well, they've decided to shut us out. We're no longer part of any of this. They're not going to mention us at all from here on in. That's why now's the time for us to, you know, put it all out there.
Yeah, and the heart of it, they don't have an. Yeah, the heart of it for them, they don't have an answer. So you can't expect the guy out in the field trying to sell the Earth is measured flat to people to have that answer either. So yeah.
See if I can get this camera working. How do I get my camera on? Turn on camera.
Looks like camera off on your icon. Yes, camera off on your icon here. Or red mark through it anyway.
That's it. Let me see whether I can get this. Virtual webcam should be running.
Can't see it in the Discord. I don't know if anybody's seen it in YouTube.
It's not working there. I don't know whether I can share my screen or whether you'll be able to see it on the got my whiteboard on.
Yeah, it's got a red line through your through your camera.
It's showing on the YouTube,
icon.
isn't it? But it's not showing in for you guys in Discord. So
okay,
it's not my webcam. It's meant to be showing for you guys, but it's not working. So I don't know whether you guys are going to be able to see it. Let me see.
Well, there's little blue things going round and round on YouTube.
No,
As
YouTube
if it's
should be showing the
waiting to
thing.
load. It's showing the page. No, there's nothing. It's showing the page with all the icons of everybody, like a Discord page. Screen shares come up on YouTube.
No, I can see whiteboard. Yes.
On YouTube, yes, but
on YouTube,
that's
on
way
YouTube
behind,
yeah.
isn't it?
On YouTube?
I'm trying to get it
On
so
YouTube,
you
yeah.
guys can see it. Yeah, I've turned it back off now.
If you cannot see this elder
can't
bar,
see on
maybe
YouTube.
refresh YouTube because sometimes for
okay.
me it's looping and it's not refreshed. So
Right. I'm still trying to sort this stuff out, so talk amongst yourselves if you if you will. It's not working.
Is that Nathan on his jet ski?
Yeah, that's not. I can't get it to work. Oh no, let's try that. Oh no, there you go. Look at that. Right, here we go. There you go.
Okay.
It's the other way around, I think. Or it shows me the other way around. But let's see.
Refresh. It's good.
You should be able to see it from inside the Discord now, yeah?
yes, I can.
Okay. Right. Am I on the left for you? Yeah.
Right.
I'm on the
It's right.
Okay. My camera's backwards when I'm looking at it through Discord. Okay. Right.
Yeah, but the text is all right.
Okay. So we've got a person here who's going to be measuring an angle right now. So can you see this H here? Height?
Yep.
Okay. There is a height of I measured to something. Doesn't really matter. I guess we're on water. We may as well save a few lives while we're here. We're going to be measuring an angle. Now, light in the sky, obviously up there somewhere, and horizon sort of in that direction, right? Now, this is a flat earther measuring this angle, right? Now, where's the horizon to the flat earther?
Oh, below his eye line.
Yeah.
Does it not rise to I? Because I thought that was one of the things.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Well, I mean, to the flat earther.
Right. That's what they do say.
Yeah.
Is it,
Yeah.
horizon
it
rises to your eye level.
Yeah, rise to
They'll
eye
say it
level.
over and over again.
We're dealing with Nathan's paralogism here, right? So
Okay.
this is Nathan's angle. And so there's going to be a question, right? The one thing that we can do is put light in the sky up here somewhere, right? Right? Light in the sky. Up there. What do we do about this bit? Because don't forget, we're on a boat. We've got our sextant out.
It depends if you are a flat earther measuring angle or not. Because if horizon is not rising to your eye level, then we need deep correction. But if it is rising to eye level, therefore we don't need deep correction. So it would be tricky.
Right. What about if you're like Jesse Gordon or George Upthak? Because they've said the horizon is above eye level. So are we going to make an allowance for that? That this over here is above the eye? Because it has been claimed by a couple of people, namely Jesse Gordon, George Upthak. Because the flat earthers say it rises to eye level, and we've got Jesse and George saying it rises above eye level. Or are we just going to go for a standard real sort of thing? Should we say it goes like down like that? Somewhere there. Like that.
In celestial navigation, it should go down.
Yeah. So we've got this angle here. Now this is the angle that Nathan Oakley has never measured. This angle. Do we need to give it a value? Or is that it? Is that boom? Is that flat earth? Have we just measured the earth flat? Or is there some other operation that needs to occur?
I would say that we haven't measured anything but size of an angle.
Yeah, we've measured an angle. Is this the angle that measures the earth flat that Nathan Oakley talks about? The angle that Nathan Oakley's never even measured?
Not for me, but you know.
Because we have said that you can do fuck all with an angle. And this, what we have right here, is that angle. That very angle. Now, is there anything else that we've got? Or is that it? Is that it? Job done. Bish bash bosh. Flat earth. There you go.
I couldn't derive any conclusion from that, but I'm not Nathan Oakley, so.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it fulfills sort of Nathan's citation, it seems. You know, an imaginary line from the observer to a celestial, and the eye line. Well, the horizon the observer's standing on, but of course nobody's standing there. But that's one version of his explanation.
Standing on. So that's where this H comes in, right? Because this is a measured distance, right? Height of eye, we call it.
It is on the second version if he includes that. Sometimes he doesn't. He just says, you know, straight away from the angle. You know, it's the horizon, the horizontal, or the horizon the observer is standing on. So it doesn't always explain that there is a dip correction or you're above the horizon.
Yeah, Nathan doesn't like to tell people about this sort of stuff, but
no,
this H is here for a reason, because this is a measured vertical distance.
Yes. Yeah, that's the one that they say they measure at port.
Because we're on water, right? So this is from the eye to the water line, which is a H. Now, we've measured this angle here, but we're not standing on it, are we?
No.
So we need,
Above it.
how do we get to stand on this angle, Nathan Oakley? I bet Nathan doesn't even know. I bet he hasn't got a clue. He's never even measured this angle. Never even. So because of this height here, we have to make a correction to this angle that Nathan Oakley hasn't measured. How do we do that? Because there's a question in that.
Yeah, because that angle's going to have to change if you're going to bring it down, aren't you?
Yeah.
However, it's going to be brought down. The angle's going to change there. It's not going to be that angle anymore.
It's going to change
Yes,
by what? How do you change this angle? Because the only thing you've got here is this. You've got, what we've got is what we call the Alberuni. It's an angle on a stick. This H here is a stick. You just holding a stick, and it's got an angle at the top of it. Somehow, you need to move the angle to the bottom of the stick. Anyone? How do you do it? I know there's no flat earth debate crew guys coming around because they can't do it. It's impossible. It's impossible because the adjustment that you'd have to make, because, I mean, where do you make the adjustment? If the horizon rises to eye level, then this is what happens. Oh.
Yes, so one way of doing that would be lifting the bottom line to horizontal, to make it horizontal. So that would be one way. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like that. That little bit there. That bit of an angle. How do we get that? How do we change this distance here, vertical distance, into this angle to adjust this angle that Nathan Oakley's never measured?
You are not doing that in celestial navigation manually. You already have it in almanac.
Yeah, because it's a number, isn't it? It's like it's an adjustment number, but that is still there as a relationship to this within the almanac, right?
Yeah.
Right, now, how do they get that? How does the almanac do that? Because it's a secret thing that takes a little bit, I don't know how much reasoning to work out how to do this, how to make this and this together. Anyone know? Similar angles it would be.
Other way would be just putting your eyes on this horizontal. So you are just erasing this height.
Moving the eyes down here, but that angle up there stays the same, and this is to a horizontal. So you need to establish a horizontal somehow. But this tool that you're using is just for measuring angles. It doesn't establish horizontals at all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So the only way you can actually find this angle out here without having this horizontal is to put the horizon at a distance away from you. Similar angles, right? This, if we put one, it would be, you're making this sort of a relationship. these similar angles, this one here and this one here. But it relies on you placing the horizon at a point. The almanac gives you this thing, but the almanac is doing this for you without telling you. It's literally placing the horizon at a distance, which means the only thing they've got to go off is this height here. So how do you transfer a height to a distance to get that angle adjustment?
To be honest, I have no idea how they calculate that.
That's
I
the
have no idea.
1.225, isn't it?
Probably yes, but it is based on Rayleigh criterion. So
Well, I mean, you say that QE's put it in an argument that says it's globe, not Rayleigh criterion. That's just optics. QE used it as a globe number. This distance here is globe, isn't it? At least the globe guys will tell you that. Built into the understanding.
yes,
Distance
and that,
no more than.
yes, and that was also point of Witzig's, let's say, counter argument, because he noticed that this Rayleigh criterion is surprisingly coincidental with this globe measurement.
Yeah,
So
because this height here, right, is the same as this height here, isn't it? That's how you can make this angle the same as this angle. Because that's what you do. You work out this angle here because of the height, how far away it is, and the height of your feet from your eyes. You get this angle. Similar angles will tell you that this angle's the same as this one over here, and therefore you can have your angle to the horizon there, to the horizontal. But I mean, it's not a way to establish a horizontal by assuming how far away the horizon is because of the height of your eye. But that's where we are.
It is assumed.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if you can assume this from this height, right? You can assume an angle from a distance. Then why can't you assume an angle and a distance along here? Because that's what Brian's doing. That's what the Nathan Oakley's allowing everyone to do. We say you can do fuck all with an angle. But if you've got a book that allows you to have a distance to the horizon, we say you can't measure a distance to the horizon. It's impossible. Yeah, it's the only way you can get this angle here. And if this angle here is needed to adjust this angle here, then you need to have this distance from this height.
Yeah, yes, as I said, it is assumed, and also you can do that also in this spherical model. But this horizontal line is not horizontal at your point, but this is this tangent to what they call horizon.
Equipotential angle of adjustment.
Yeah, that this tangent horizontal, which is not horizontal at your point.
Yeah, this becomes the equipotential angle of adjustment between the horizontal at your position and the horizontal at a different position. The angle between the two, between a horizontal and a different position. Totally globe maths. So there's two ways you can do it, but neither of them actually work in reality. They're both just tricks of geometry. Yeah, that's a bit better. It's getting a bit dark. Geometric tricks. We've been saying for quite a bit that you can't do this. Can't place this distance here at the horizon. You can't adjust this angle because of this height. There's no way to make a vertical distance adjust an angle, because that's what you've got to do. You've got to find some way to convert this height into this angle. And you can do it by similar triangles like we've shown there. But you can't actually do that because
this is just calculation. It is just given numbers in almanac, so it is assumed.
Yeah.
So that was always my objection, that in order to measure this whatever flat Earth, you have to assume something. So it is based on assumption. That's why it is begging the question argument. This whole celestial navigation argument is still begging the question, because you are assuming something before you are measuring this angle. So that cannot be a proof of flat Earth. Even if Earth was flat, you cannot use this celestial navigation, so-called sextant argument, as proof of flat Earth, because it is begging the question argument. You are assuming outcome, and you are assuming. Yes, so that's just wrong. Logically, it is illogical.
Yeah. And because of that, what Brian was saying to Nathan was, because Nathan said, you can't actually get this distance along here because this is the way, you know, the assumptions, once they start rolling, then you're on your way, aren't you? Because you can put the distance to the horizon and have this angle and this angle, then you can adjust this angle, then you can sight this star and you would have this adjusted angle here, this one, which would then give you this distance to that one. And then you could place your right angle here and do your calculations for your math to draw a circle. So it's assumption on assumption, the way celestial navigation works. You measure an angle, Nathan Oakley, you measure the angle that Nathan Oakley's never measured. You assume you know the distance to the horizon because of the height of your eye. Therefore, you can adjust the angle that Nathan Oakley's never measured. Then you can find the distance to the light in the sky. But you can't work out this height here, according to Nathan Oakley. That one can't be worked out. But this one can.
Yes, but in fact, this question mark is wrong, because according to trigonometry, you easily can.
Yeah. If you've got this distance and this angle, then you can work out this side, and that angle. All of it. But that just goes to show, this first assumption of the distance to the horizon is what causes the problem, that thinking you can do something with this angle that's been adjusted. This distance here, the one that Brian wants, the one that Nathan says that Brian can't have. Problems on problems on problems. Now, luckily enough, I think nobody else is actually doing this argument. This is just Nathan Oakley, and he just shouts at people who ever ask any of these questions. So you're best off. Is somebody counting? So somebody counting then?
Counting what?
I don't know. I thought I heard somebody counting.
Algebra.
I think that was eBear doing a countdown. I think he's doing a rocket launch or something. I don't know.
I switched my mic as well.
Right, so we know that the Flat Earth Debate guys and the 24/7 guys, the ones that actually use this, they're not going to talk to us because they've banned me from everywhere, so they don't have to go over this. But this is a very, very real problem for anyone in the Flat Earth Debate crew. Blue Marble says just use an astrolabe. On a boat, Blue.
Back to the Future.
On a boat. We're trying to save lives here. Everyone knows that measuring angles on boats saves lives. You can't be bringing an astrolabe in. Extra credits. I think the astrolabe requires a plumb bob, doesn't it? I think so. And you're not going to get a plumb bob working on a boat rocking about all over the place. This is a pre-measured height at the dock, so therefore can be added to your calculations for any angles that you do measure under the assumption that you know the distance to the horizon. And everybody knows that's ridiculous, right? I hope everybody knows that you cannot measure a distance to the horizon. It's just not possible. No matter what model you've got. Because in reality, there's no physical way of doing that. But some people have books that, allow you to imagine you can. Now, I don't know whether people have realised that, this is what has to happen within their book. There's no other way of doing it. You can't get this angle between these 2 points here. You can't get that angle without putting that point there. Not possible. And you can't change this angle here without using Euclidean geometric principles of similar angles. Similar angles about parallels. So these two are parallel. Have to be. In order for you to swap this angle to this angle here to adjust this angle. Make sense to people, does it?
It is based on calculations. So this distance to horizon is just calculated.
It's necessary though, right? In order for us to do this distance to the horizon has to be assumed to be known.
Yeah. And apparently it works on both models. Because in so-called flat Earth measurement, you are using this angle as Rayleigh criterion, and on globe model, you are using the same angle as
For potential angle
curvature.
adjustment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in reality, or geometry, like geometry will tell you, you can't do this. It's not real. Like you aren't. This isn't actually possible because you can't put this point here. So it doesn't actually work in reality, but it only works on the two models that make assumptions for. I don't know what. I mean, what's the next step? I think the next step is to imagine that this angle here is a distance also. This distance to this one.
Yes, this so-called horizontal distance would be this 69 statute or 60 nautical
60,
miles.
60 nautical miles, yeah, per degree. Yeah. Which is what Brian says gives him this. So if you can make this angle this distance, then you can make this angle this distance. So Nathan says one of these angles, he's a bit vague because he won't tell you which one, is the one that measures the Earth flat. Of course, he's never measured any of the angles. I mean, this one's a calculation from an assumed horizontal distance of the horizon, adjusted. So this angle that Nathan Oakley's never measured nor adjusted may be the angle that's the measurement, but like Brian was saying, this actual angle here, this is a calculation, isn't it? Because you've minus this angle from it. So if this distance here isn't a measurement because it's a calculation from this angle, then this angle here can't be a proof that the Earth's measured flat either, because it's a calculation of an original angle. So the only actual angle is the angle that Nathan Oakley never measured, and perhaps that's the angle that's measured the Earth flat for Nathan Oakley. It's hard to tell.
Yes, it is based on the assumption, but he claims that this is measurement of flat Earth.
Yeah. Well, like you say, I only have this here, right? It's not working properly. There you go. It's that line there comes from an adjustment on this angle here, and they're adjusting this line here, this angle, because of an assumed distance to the horizon, which everybody knows you can't actually measure a distance to the horizon. So this angle here could never be accurate to adjust this angle here to find a horizontal. So Nathan Oakley, within the geometry that he's using, has no ability to establish an accurate horizontal through fantasy geometry about a measured angle and an assumed distance to the horizon. You can't establish horizontals like this. And if you can't establish horizontals like this, you can't claim that an angle measures the Earth flat.
Yes, and you don't have this elevation angle measurement. Absolutely not. So he is citing this solar panel, whatever definition, but in celestial navigation, you don't have horizontal. You are not operating with horizontal in celestial navigation. This horizontal is only calculated because of assumptions. This is what you got. Calculated horizontal from some assumptions. That's it.
And that's what Nathan Oakley calls measuring the Earth flat. I don't know how he's managed to be able to fool flat earthers, to be honest. It's a bit much. And it's hard to tell how many people have been affected by the bullshit Nathan Oakley comes out with. I presume not many, because we've been around these chat rooms and stuff for years now. Nobody uses QE's Black Swan. They all know it's fallacious. Nathan Oakley's never been out and attempted to use it in a true argumentative form. Nathan Oakley doesn't do any debates. Nathan Oakley's never going to answer for this. how you measure the Earth flat. Never. I feel sorry for the flat earthers that are going to try and attempt to use it. I've seen loads of people on, you know, it's spreading. It's on Facebook and all of that. People are questioning, saying, oh, you know, this measuring the Earth flat is spreading. It's all over. Well, it's a lie. Spread by a man who's trying to push a paralogism.
Yeah, I think this is the pressure that Brian's come under. That he's like the public face of FED, or one of them, if you like. He's out there posting videos, and so people get a chance to comment to him, but not to Oakley, because he just shuts people down and goes away till tomorrow. So he never has to deal with the public in that sense. Whereas I think Brian has been posting some videos, and he's come under a lot of pressure from the public to explain all sorts of things that aren't anything to do with the video he's representing or he's presenting. And like you say, you know, Nathan's never done it. He doesn't have to explain it to anybody. He just swears at you, tells you you're a coward, and silences you. So he never has to deal with it. It's all left to the other people who carry the message to try to explain something that they don't know how to explain.
I think that Brian's logic is trying to save face of flat Earth, because this claim is so ridiculous that people are repeating this, and Globers are laughing at them. So rightly so. And I would admit that Brian's logic is trying to save face, because but the main resistance is, of course, from Nathan Oakley, because he is so clinged to his own paralogism that he cannot abandon that. So it is very hard for him, because he's just used to use that argument for 4 years, from 2020, from 10th man sextant argument. It is very hard to abandon. That's why he's quarreling with Brian's logic. But it's hard work to undo what Nathan Oakley has done. So I don't think that Nathan Oakley can, let's say, convert back to normal thinking. I don't think that Brian's logic can convince him, because otherwise Nathan Oakley should change his rhetoric. I'm not sure if he is capable of doing that. But it puts Brian's logic in hard position. That voice of reason, let's say. But I somehow feel pity for Brian's logic, because he's just trying to undo this stupid statement. But I don't think it will work, because it is already it already sunk in people's mind.
Yeah.
On the main screen. We can go back on the whiteboard if anybody else wants to come in, ask any questions. Any FED guys want to come in and defend the sextant stuff? If there's any budding globe guys?
Yeah, there are two. Blue Marble Science is commenting on your drawings, and Show Hawkins, of course, main celestial navigator on the globe.
Oh. Well, Sean says he's had enough. He's done with us. So if he's still back here, then thanks for being around. And I think Blue's talking to Paige now anyway, probably talking about levels or something. We were just talking about an angle, Nathan Oakley's paralogism. He said that we demeaned his argument by saying you can do fuck all with an angle. But as they've shown us, they can go to the almanac and derive a distance of the horizon. First, I think. First, they go to the almanac to work out a distance to the horizon, and then that gives you an angle. So you can work an angle from a distance, a vertical distance, and if you can do that, then why can't you work out a horizontal distance from an angle? If you can make a vertical distance into an angle, you should be able to make an angle into a horizontal distance, shouldn't you?
Yes, and in answering Gary Wybenga, because he's saying that no right angle triangle involved in elevation angle. It is impossibility. Elevation angle is from horizontal. So it is not elevation angle.
No, there is though. The right angle triangle is within the height adjustment, within the dip correction. It's the right angle triangle. You have to have that right angle triangle in order to get similar angles to make the angle to adjust it.
Yes, but okay, but if he's saying about elevation angle measurements to Polaris, okay, but it can be done from the ground. So I can admit that.
You can't measure angles from the ground.
I mean, not on the boat. So you can establish horizontal. So you can have horizontal.
You can establish a horizontal, right?
On the ground.
But that's got nothing to do with celestial navigation.
Yeah.
So we're either dealing with establishing a horizontal or measuring an angle to a light in the sky. You can't have both. You can't measure an angle to establish a horizontal. That is not how you establish horizontals. I know Nathan Oakley wants to believe that, that's how you measure the Earth flat. But it's just not. You don't do it by measuring angles. And it's a bit dishonest as well. I don't know who's convinced Nathan Oakley that you can establish a horizontal with a sextant. But unfortunately, he's been lied to by someone. And it does make him look a little bit ridiculous. I'll give you that. I've not wanted to, come out with this sort of stuff. We've tried to be nice to Nathan Oakley and point out to him, where he might have a failing. But he got upset about what we said to Ruhif. And what we said to Ruhif was because Ruhif was imagining an angle in a camera and changing it to a vertical height in the distance. What you've got here is a case of you measuring a vertical height, changing it to an angle. You can do fuck all with an angle, reversed from Ruhif. It's an exact copy, just reversed. And then you can adjust an angle. And then Brian's logic comes in and he wants to convert that angle into a distance. But not a vertical distance like Ruhif did. Brian's logic wants to turn it into a horizontal distance. I state you can't do that. It's not a geometric mathematical operation. But Flat Earth debate guys will tell you otherwise. And there's a load of guys who walk around with sextants from the globe as well that want to also tell you different. But strangely enough, they can't magic distances from angles either. They'll tell you that though as well. Globe guys can't do it. It's impossible. But a book tells you can. Yeah, no, I don't want to cause a beef or anything with flat earthers, but I will say, yeah, we did tell you, you can do fuck all with an angle. If you want to imagine, you can berate somebody and cut them off, silence them, mute them, call them names, whatever you want. But you can still not going to be able to do anything with an angle. You've just got one angle. A wangle. Kevin B with the wop. What the wop? What's that? Kevin B the wop says hello to everyone, and he's made it safely to New York. Well, that's nice. I noticed there was a lack of Kevin B today. We missed him. I think he's busy working. I still don't know what the WAP is. Thank you very much, Kevlar.
It's a term for an Italian.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that Western Oriental person or something? Because I know Western Oriental gentleman. I don't know what it stands for. Without papers. Oh, you learned something new. So yeah, we've been we're gearing up ready for PAX Day coming out gaming. So most of the stuff's focused towards that. I'm still trying to sort out some straight line things. Have had a couple of conversations about straight lines. May seem futile to most people, but I quite enjoy the understanding of finding a proof in reality of something so simple. Not many people have actually not many people seem to have a proof, and I'm surprised at that. Being in an arena where people you know, asking people for proof all the time, within argumentation, debating, and nobody seems to have anything. Nobody seems to have an understanding of what a proof is. How would they receive a proof? How would anyone receive a proof? I don't know. I do, because I've got a proof. I've got plenty. I've got, you know. Oh yeah, the way I worked this sort of stuff out was that if you understand how the proofs within mathematics work, and I mean, it's hard to know how a number proof works. So really, they need to be related to some sort of geometric understanding where you can relate certain things together and see how the flow of these things work, be able to come to a self-reasoning to work out, you know, that this thing always occurs that way. Then you can, once you've got that, a geometric mathematical understanding, you can then try and attempt to relate that to reality and see how closely you can replicate those principles that you've got that have gained you the proof. I'm not too sure how many people have ever gone through that. And I feel lucky to have come into this arena. Somebody challenged me to do something in one of the most extreme ways. Made me realise that I didn't actually have that proof before I came into this arena. I've been lucky enough to have met people that have given me the ability to do that. Not only design and relate these tests mathematically, but to be able to do it. You can't do these things on your own. Some of these things require more people than just one. It requires, some of this stuff's quite a big operation. You're better off having, some help in order to do it. But it's better that there's more heads on the thing anyway, because then you can refer to each other. Make sure that you're going down the right path. Make sure that your proof has a meaning, and it's not just relatable to one person, but relatable to everybody that's taking part in it.
At least, proof is not answer. So, and for me, it's this arena is for that reason interesting, because if someone is claiming something, I'm trying to object that and to respond, but not harshly and rapidly, but I have to think how to create counter argument. And then if I have counter argument, then I can show this, but not earlier, because it would be just quarreling, just na'a to na'a, and this is how this modern debate is operating, sadly. But at least it's me, I'm trying to find counter argument or objection, valid objection to something within logic. So that's why I am here in this arena, let's say. But in fact, I am only interested in arguments and debates, really. Debate and argumentation, proofs, objections, that kind of things. It doesn't matter what topic it would be. But I found rather interesting that in this arena, where the science supposedly should prevail, there are many arguments that are not arguments, and they are only dialectic arguments. So for me, it is strange, because science operates, natural science operates within demonstrative arguments. So there is no such thing as third option, that you can say something in between. So science operates within 0-1 logic. So for me, it's quite interesting how people are turning this supposedly scientific debate into political debate or religious debate or some kind of quarreling about words, semantics. I don't know. For me, it is strange what's going on in science.
Yeah, we was having a discussion this morning, and the question was asked, do you have any proof for the straight line? And obviously, not much of a reply from anyone. To which I said, I do. I have a proof of a straight line. And somebody then said, what's that? And I said, do you have a proof? Do you actually have a proof that you would be able to accept what I was telling you about the proof? Because unless you do, how do you know what a proof is if you don't already hold a proof? If you've not gone through the process to find a proof for yourself, then how is somebody else going to pass on to you a proof that they hold? Because they've gone through the process of working out what the proof is and how it becomes a proof. That's not a very short process. It's quite a long, lengthy process that goes right back to the fundamentals, the first principles. And since we're dealing about a straight line, the very straight line is one of those first principles. So you're going to have to find some way to bring first principles together to give you that proof in the first place. And we found that hard work to have those relatable instances to be able to lay them down together, that people can even comprehend the proof to start off with. It's pretty deep, pretty hard work to explain as well. And then it became apparent that when people question themselves about what proofs they hold, there's not much there. That's a pretty sad state of affairs, to be in an arena where everybody's been talking about arguments and, calling people liars, and they've been debating, and it appears nobody has any proof of anything.
I was there this morning when you asked about that, and that person replied with, well, when I've got enough information that I accept, I'm paraphrasing. And I'm trying to remember how he said it, but it was along the lines of, when I get enough information and evidence and I accept it. That was proof for him.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just belief. I was amazed.
Yeah. But I mean, we have been dealing with it for quite a while, haven't we?
Yeah. I just couldn't believe that it was the asking you to prove a straight line. The shortest distance.
Yeah,
the straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points, and it was like, fold a piece of paper. You were like, well, you can move the points, but it's a shorter line now, and you have to move the points. He thought just folding the paper was a straight line, not or now it's curved line being shorter. It's like, no, actually move the points.
Yes, points are described with location. So, so if you are changing your points, don't move. So, point is location. So, if you are moving points, you are moving location. So, it's nonsense. So,
for me, sorry.
No, I'm saying that if someone is saying that you can move the points, yes, but you are changing location. So it doesn't prove anything.
Yeah.
Because the distance between 2 points, it means that these points are given and they are in fixed positions. So if you are changing position, so this counter argument fails completely.
Yeah. For me, the proof of a straight line, shortest distance being measured, every construction worker knows that if you're trying to fill a void with, a piece of lumber or something, and you go to measure that to make the cut, if your tape measure's bent, your cut's going to be off. You want that measurement as straight as possible to get an accurate measurement. So, I mean, that's the shortest distance is a straight line between 2 points.
Yeah, so I was thinking about putting those sort of conversations out, but I personally can't see the use in letting people hear somebody who's obviously got mental problems just wanting to argue about a straight line. Couldn't even come to an understanding of what a straight line was. Never, even so we didn't have the ability to get to a proof of it that somebody else might understand, because there's one particular person who has a problem, and that one particular person takes the whole conversation over. Nobody learns anything. And that's pretty sad about this little arena that we're in. That there are people who everybody knows who they are. You go into those rooms, there's always somebody who's going to have a certain point of view on a certain topic. And
I would say
they've got that way that they can't even have a conversation about a straight line, the fundamental starting blocks.
Yeah, I mean, when you were talking about the straight line with him this morning, maybe Buster covered it because I didn't hear him quite. But he said you draw a straight line on a piece of paper. When you pick the piece of paper up and you curve the piece of paper, the line's still straight, but without the concept that the points have now changed. The distance between the points has changed. They changed location, like Paper was saying. And it seemed, like you said, he didn't want anybody to be able to have that conversation. And after you left, the conversation went to, well, can you prove where you live? Where you live? And he said, what do you mean in a big terms of, the whole of everything? He said, well, no, just where you live, your house. And he went on to talk about the possibility that the house doesn't actually exist, and that you render everything in each moment, so that when you leave your house isn't there until you come back and you render it into being. This kind of hologram world. And went on a long conversation about that, miles away from a straight line. And I said, nothing about reality then. You're not talking about anything from reality. They spend a lot of time, not talking about reality and taking people purposely away from anything that resembles reality at all. And like I said, that guy had been around for years doing the same thing. It's just incredible, really.
Yeah, like he said to me, I've been around longer than you, Bev.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, lots of people have. This is a weird arena that most people don't last. Most people don't last. They're in it and then they're gone.
I feel some dishonesty in that straight line discussion, because bowlers, they need straight line because, as Jesse Kozłowski said, that you have drop from horizontal. So in his model, level is curved, and you measure that curve from straight horizontal. Because otherwise, if the horizontal is bendizontal, you couldn't have any drop, because they would be equidistant to each other. So there would be no drop. So if someone is saying that there is drop from horizontal, so he automatically has to assume that the horizontal is straight line. So therefore he knows what straight line is, because he is measuring drop from straight horizontal line to level, supposedly. So for me, it is just dishonest. If someone from Boller's side is saying that he doesn't know what horizontal is or what straight line is, for me it is dishonest, because he is using straight horizontal line to measure drop from this horizontal. So how, if this horizontal straight line is not straight, so how he is measuring drop from that kind of horizontal? It's just inconsistent. It doesn't hold water. So so I would say that it is dishonesty from bowlers that if they are arguing against straight line, because they have to have a good idea of straight line if they want to measure a drop from horizontal.
He said he'd seen a film on telly.
Event Horizon.
And that allowed him to believe that straight lines might be different. And I mean, that's the quality of conversation that you might get into on some Discord servers when talking about the proof of a straight line. Can you imagine? Talking about the proof of a straight line, and somebody brings up a television or film that they've seen on TV to bring in as part of the conversation, and it was allowed. This guy's a regular on these sort of arenas.
Yeah, it was the film Event Horizon, and he did go on to say, to justify it all with Mr. Spock teleporting himself from one fictional TV studio to another. Yeah, he did to justify straight line not being straight. Science fiction horror film. Follows a crew of astronauts sent on a rescue mission after a missing spaceship. The Event Horizon spontaneously appears in orbit around Neptune, only to discover that a sinister force has come back with it. That's what convinced him there was no straight lines.
Yeah, it's a problem, and I don't know whether people have actually realised how big a problem the straight line has become. Modern day thinking.
To be fair, though, he did give the caveat of what his proof was, and it's just he gets enough information and he takes it on as evidence, and that's what he decides is proof.
I thought the proof was the straight line on his desk.
Yeah, his table.
Mm.
Yeah, his table was straight. He didn't need to prove it because he could just look at it and see it was.
Mm.
Yeah. There's a lot of table talk recently. People, the flat earthers did it for a bit, didn't they? They wanted the proof of the flat earth to be the table top. I think that was Jeremy and...
Yeah, it's either IKEA or zoom out and imagine that you're just this little ant on this geometric shape and how things might be, or your table. That's just one of those.
Yeah, what a strange arena this place has become. And to be honest, I'm not surprised the numbers are failing. I think this particular branch of flat Earth that we've been dealing with. 24/7 flat Earth debate. They've tried to bring this aggressive shouting at people to try and get them to come up with the globe, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how good it's going to last. I'm pretty sure that finding mutual agreement with people about reality, I think that's going to be the new hot thing. Not trying to divide people. I don't want to be talking to people about divisive things. I would rather talk to people about things that we can agree on. And I think there's a lot to, to be discussed within the arena with people that we can agree on. It does seem like the flat earthers want to disagree on things for some reason. Like, for some reason, when you say the earth isn't measured flat, flat earthers tend to think you're a glober. Can you imagine that? That's what this sort of stuff is doing. And they're quite aggressive with it as well. People want to make assumptions on all sorts of things. Certain people that have been in the arena for perhaps too long. What's an acceptable amount of time to be in the arena and not gain a proof of anything? How long do you have to be? Nathan Oakley was 10 years before he decided to start bullshitting to people. I mean, he's probably been bullshitting people all along, but before he decided to bullshit people on his own.
Yeah, there's only so long you can just keep asking people to prove their own model and claim that that's proof of yours. So if anybody asks about anything that's flat, you say, well, where's the curve? Where's the curve? And keep pushing it back onto somebody else's burden of proof. But once you start making claims, the earth is measured flat, then questions come, and you can't just keep saying, well, where's the curve? When you're asked, how did you measure the earth flat? You must be a glober. Get him out of here. Kick him out. We detest you, because the truth should be able to stand and be explained. So there was an explanation, even if you didn't want to believe it, the explanation could be given and should be able to be given time after time by everybody who knows it and understands it. And I think that this defensive mechanism of being aggressive and more aggressive is all there is to cover up the lack of proof that they're claiming. Really, what else can you do?
We're getting some things here to explain about this binary. From Sean Hawkins. Right, here we go. Two things.
Yeah, I've seen Sean in lots of chats recently, but not really in any voice, just shouting at people in 24/7 on their YouTube, 24/7 Discord.
Well,
on
Sean's
YouTube.
the original
I haven't heard him anyway.
Polaris argument. He invented the Polaris argument.
You think that being the leading kind of flat Earth proof at the moment, you'd think his voice should be quite loud.
Well,
in
yeah,
talking
I think he's
about
trying to make it
that,
loud. So here we go. This is me replying to Sean. Might give you an idea. Sean says, there are only two choices. Pick one. Not flat is not a valid choice. You're such a pathetic, terrified, ignorant flat earther. And he adds to that. He says, you're an adult afraid to say what you are. That's sad. But we both know what you are, and you can't lie to yourself. So you know for a fact that you're a flat earther. You asked me when you have lied. The answer is, every time you say you're not a flat earther, you're probably the most pathetic person on YouTube. Flatsoid is the most dishonest. You're the most pathetic. This is Sean Hawkins. And I say, I'm definitely not a flat earther, Sean. The earth is definitely not flat. Be at peace with your globe. Right, and then let me get the next one. He then says, how pathetic is a person who has to lie about what they believe? Everyone knows exactly what you are. You're a disgusting, lying, scientifically illiterate, smug, functionally illiterate, scientifically and functionally illiterate, sack of human excrement, and you know it. And then he says, I'm tired of your childish games and dishonesty. No more of your lies will be seen on my channel. You're a pathetic scumbag, and I won't entertain your bullshit any longer. Sean gave me a binary choice, right? And I said, it's not flat. Now, within argumentation or anything, providing a negative of one of the choices says something about the argument. And Sean should know that. But that's not enough for Sean. Knowing that the earth is not flat isn't enough for Sean. His false dichotomy that he set up himself isn't enough for him to understand that. And so Sean lashes out, calls people liars and terrible things, right? But it's not just Sean. There's a lot of people like Sean in this arena. A lot of people like Sean. And sometimes it's not enough for you to tell them that the earth's not flat. They want more. I don't know why. He mustn't be happy with what he knows himself. He's got no proof of anything himself.
That's why he's happy. Because, but the baseline is, at least for me, that they don't know what proof and argument and logic is. That's why they want some answers from non-argument. So because they false dichotomy works in that way that you have to be somewhere on a globe side or flat earth side. And they don't understand, seemingly, that it is false dichotomy, and arguments that are produced here are not about either of these models. So and that's why they don't accept it, because it doesn't conform to any of these models, two models. So that's their problem, not our problem. But this is misunderstanding what proof and what logic is, what argument is. They don't know that, so they ignore argument, and they are trying to pull everybody into false dichotomy, into box with globers or box with flat earthers.
Yeah,
So
they
that's
don't even understand the false dichotomy.
Yeah,
They don't
I
even
know.
understand a true dichotomy, right?
Yeah. If they would know what true dichotomy is, you automatically know what false dichotomy is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, man or a woman. Well, I'm not a man. What does that say? Like, it doesn't take much logical processing for you to work out that not a man, given a man or woman type thing, means woman.
Yes, because there is no third option. You cannot have third option.
And he told me, he gave me two options, and I said, not that, which obviously should imply the other one. But that wasn't enough for Sean. He couldn't work that out in his head. He wasn't able to reason that out for himself. And instead chose to go on a rant, calling names and all sorts of stuff. Because he doesn't have the mental acuity to be able to work these simple logical processes out. And there's a lot of people that are like Sean. And we stand by people like Sean. I don't want to ridicule Sean. You've got to point it out. He doesn't know what a false dichotomy is, and he doesn't know what a true dichotomy is. So given only two choices, he doesn't know the outcome or how that works out. I was hoping to try and help him out. Get him to do a little bit of reasoning on his own. Doesn't seem like he can. That was the whole point of us going over the straight line thing. I mean, you've either got, this is one of the true dichotomies with straight, either straight or not straight. Now, if that's a true dichotomy, it might be a good idea for you to understand what straight is. Because if you only up until the point that you know what straight is, that's when you're going to know what not straight is. If you don't know what straight is, how are you meant to decide what not straight is? How do you know? And it seems like not a lot of people have got an understanding of what straight is. They can change it by things that they see on TV. So, Sean, if you are out there, we still, we're still friends. We still like you, though. We're not trying to emasculate you in any way. Remember, that was about Whitsit as well, wasn't it? That was when Whitsit first came round. I remember that. But he's had enough of me. He can't deal with it. There's not many people that can deal with the old try thinking. I think that might be that thought process. It's just a little bit too much for somebody, particularly if you've been in this arena for too long. Imagine being Nathan Oakley and having to process that angle that he's never actually measured. How do you deal with it? It's like trying to work out what a proof is when you don't have a proof. It's trying to work out what you do with an angle when you've never even measured the angle. Being able to reason stuff for yourself is a key part of the process of being around this thing. In this arena, I would have thought. I'd have hoped. But it does seem like, you know, we've spent a long time and people are just don't really want to attempt any sort of thought process. But I mean, we are still here, obviously, for the people that do want to. I hope so, anyway. I hope in the future people are going to want to be able to find a fundamental understanding of what straight is. I hope. Sean can still come in here, can't he? Yeah, I think he can still come into the Discord. Same goes for Blue. If you're out there, Blue, still want to come round, have a chat. Wonder if anybody's going to take up. I mean, we've been dealing with the Realising Euclid tests for quite a while, and nobody seems to have took those challenges up or anything. I'm like I say, I'm okay because I've got these proofs, and they will be getting strengthened with other tests that we have. I'm just wondering if anybody else is ever going to take any of them up. It appears I've tried over the last few months. I've tried to have conversations with flat earthers. It hasn't worked well. The 24/7 guys have completely banned us from just about every server that they're involved in. So we cannot have conversations with them. They even showed their bigotry by developing a new group for them to dislike. That's us here at the On The Level crew. He calls people Bevites. You might get called that if you ask them certain questions, particularly about straight lines, angles, or level, or, you know, those sort of things. So sorry if you are going to be called all of those names or whatever. And like Sean Hawkins, these people do have a lot of hatred, let's say, for certain arguments or whatever. Yeah, Lamal. We've got this test, right? But it's called Realising Euclid. And I've been trying to tell the flat earthers, you know, that this test is it doesn't prove a flat earth, because you can't prove a flat earth. And perhaps that's what I've been, you know, I've been honest with the flat earthers and telling them that. I think that's why they don't like it. It does just prove a straight line within a plane using water levels. So this test is available for anyone, surveyors, you know, you can run anybody through this one. It doesn't prove a flat earth. I think when Jaren had that one, whatever, I think they're trying to prove a flat earth. But, I mean, I'm not so sure you can. I mean, you can prove level is horizontal, but you use that to measure elevation changes. How can that be a proof of flat Earth? So the test we've got, the Realising Euclid test, is I don't know. I hope we should be able to give it into the schools, colleges, universities. But it's more to teach the basic concepts, logic within reality. And yeah, it's going to bring up some sort of contradiction, but this is 2024. If you've not found any contradictions in daily life, then you haven't been looking hard enough. They're everywhere. It's just one more contradiction. Level is horizontal. Level is a straight line on a horizontal plane. Can't get away from it. It's just that you use that level to measure elevation changes. Elevation changes prove that the Earth's not flat. You can't have elevation changes proving that the Earth is flat. That would be ridiculous. That would be contradictory. You'd much rather have a hidden contradiction than one that's blatant right in your face. Yeah, you can, well, Lamal, you can disprove a model, as we've found. But in order to get that to work, you have to employ a false dichotomy. Well, like I said to them, I've said to any of them, all you need to do to prove flat Earth or globe Earth is set up a false dichotomy and prove one of them false. Dead easy. Simple. It's whether you can get it by people about the false dichotomy. Because it can't be that simple, can it? Prove a flat Earth by disproving the spherical nature of a model. Disprove a globe by disproving the flatness of a model. Simple. Thank you very much, Unicorn Laser Eyes. Somebody got one. Admiral Dicky Bird says thank you very much. There was that we were talking, I don't know whether Skeptical's still on his train line or whatever, but he was asking about Brian's logic saying that what did he say? Horizontal, level and flat were synonymous, and I pointed out that Brian's logic also wants vertical to be synonymous with flat. In that case, it would mean that both vertical and horizontal were synonymous with flat. So that means flat could be both orientations. It means you wouldn't need to say horizontal or vertical. You could just say flat. which would cause complications no end. But it might help him solve an argument within a ridiculous false dichotomy. So yeah, I'm sorry for people for bringing in, because I don't think the level horizontal should have ever have been involved in this flat Earth, globe Earth nonsense, because level and horizontal are reality terms. There was no need for us to bring them into this false dichotomy. So sorry for that. And I think I'm going to have to also say sorry for the straight, because obviously straight is a fundamental of Euclidean geometry, and that has no place whatsoever in the flat Earth, globe Earth argument. It's a geometric fundamental, and geometry also has no place within the flat Earth, globe Earth argument, as Nathan Oakley's pointed out with his ridiculous idea of measuring angles to be. So that's, well, we're going to have to try and separate all of that geometry stuff. So when you hear people like Nathan Oakley talking about angles, or Flatsoid talking about level, you're just going to have to put it down to it. It's just the colloquial term used within the flat Earth, globe Earth, ridiculous Earth shape debate. If you want to talk about geometry or level, or these sort of things within reality, then come and have a word with us on the level. No models needed. Just talking about reality. That sort of stuff that Nathan Oakley wants to do away with, all of the model shit. That's what we're doing. Just arguments from reality. Now, if we have to disprove the globe and we have to disprove the flat Earth, then that's what we'll do. Like, we can do that. We can disprove both of them. But you're going to have to get used to reality and talking about reality, not talking about the ridiculous models that anybody can disprove easily. Kevlar, what a man, what a dude on the YouTube mod. We see we've got a new YouTube mod on the go. Kevlar. I don't know how many people you're dragging in, but that's the way to do it. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's we could do with somebody else to come in here. So I don't know what Skeptical wanted us to talk about with Brian and the his synonym. I mean, we've made this synonym argument already. It's a ridiculous thing within this arena. I don't think many people take flat earthers seriously. And I'm not too sure whether I'm taking flat earthers seriously or not. I know what we've done. Found these arguments. We've been out, we've done tests, we've done loads of stuff, learned loads. But I can't really take flat earthers seriously, to be honest. They don't seem to know what they want. It should be simple that it's not flat. Anyone can see that it's not flat. So what is it that flat earthers want? The globe Earth dogmatic globe has got far too many contradictions. In fact, it's got that many contradictions that there's nobody out there that can talk about it. I think we know just about every one of the globe contradictions, particularly surrounding the geometric understanding of the model. It's riddled with contradictions. And they're exposed very easily by using logic. So that only leaves reality, and perhaps there's something about reality that you're not meant to know. Perhaps there's a higher power that's decided that you can't do it. Perhaps it's for our own good. Perhaps being able to conceive it makes you mad. Perhaps your brain just breaks if you were to receive all of this knowledge, to know everything about all the stuff that's going on. Perhaps there's certain things that you're just meant to leave in the realm of you can't know. We call that epoche. Gives you an ability to put those certain things in this epoche basket and just say, I'm okay not knowing, because I know that I can't ever know it. Sometimes you don't need to answer every stupid question from every ridiculous question asker. I mean, half the time you don't even know why they're asking the question. Possibly just jealous that, they don't have a proof. I wouldn't mind working through it with somebody, as long as it's not combative, because proofs aren't meant to be hard fought over. There's a lot of consideration that goes into understanding what a proof is. You can't do it if you're in combat mode. What time are we at? It's only early, isn't it?
What would be your top globe contradiction?
My one, personally, it would have to be level, wouldn't it? Like the misunderstanding between level and horizontal, because it leads them into awful problems when trying to understand which one they want to curve, and they have to they want to separate them for starters, but then they end up putting them both back together, and horizontal's only at a point, and they just get lost. Like you can't tell what a line is whenever you enter that conversation with the globe guys. But there's too many. Like every one of them doesn't matter. I don't think there's anything that isn't a contradiction within the globe model, because it's just not real.
Yeah, that separation of horizontal and level is I found really incredible when I first heard that being put, really. That horizontal is not level. Level is not horizontal. They're separate things in separate places with separate meanings.
In order to measure a drop from horizontal, you need them to be different, because if there was no difference between them, you couldn't measure anything. So
yeah, but the horizontal turns into a point.
Yes,
not a straight line. So which
So-
one is the curve at that point, and which one's the straight?
Yes, so it is internal, let's say, contradiction within term of horizontal, because they say that you are measuring from horizontal drop of level, so it would be a line, but on the same breath as they are telling you that there is no horizontal because it is only a point. So if it is only a point, you cannot measure drop from horizontal.
Yeah, and the bit that you would be measuring the drop to is the horizontal.
Yeah, it
Right,
should
it's
be,
like
but
that point down. No, that point down there where you're measuring the drop at the bottom of the drop is another horizontal point.
yeah,
So it's not a drop from horizontal; it turns into a drop to horizontal,
yeah,
and
that
that's a
would be
contradiction.
yeah, exactly. So they say it is a horizontal point also, but different. You mean, what does it mean, different?
Yeah, because it would be a horizontal point to a horizontal point, but there's no drop. So I mean, yeah, it's just a mess whenever they imagine it differently in the first place. You know, it's the model that brings on the imagining that it has to be different, but then because they're so unaware of how it works, they're deep in aporia trying to work out what it is they've just said.
Yes, because if they are trying to defend their positions, they are creating more contradictions. So they are trying to fill the gap with another contradiction. They think that this is good explanation to fill the gap, but they are creating another contradiction. So it's endless process of creating new contradiction to cover old contradiction.
And that's only because it was a lie to start off with. If you'd have just gone with the truth, you wouldn't have needed to do that. And that's what happens with the globe everywhere, on every point, because it's not real. You're deviating from a truth to come up with an explanation of something that obviously isn't a truth, which causes contradictions, problems. Much the same for the flat earth. Only exposed when ridiculous members of the weird cult start saying things like you can measure the earth flat. To me, that is as ridiculous, but a bit more direct. Because it turns out a measure of flatness is a measure of nothing. And to measure nothing is no measurement. And no measurement isn't a measurement. So you can't measure it if it's not a measurement.
And as I said before, this sextant argument involves begging the question fallacy. So that's also bad argument, because it is a fallacy. If you are assuming horizontal, which you don't have, you cannot prove horizontal, because you are already assumed horizontal. So because Nathan Oakley says that this horizontal baseline, as he says, is flat Earth. But in sextant argument, let's say, let's call it sextant argument, you already have this horizontal assumed in your measurement or calculation, better to say. So if you have this horizontal assumed already in calculation, you cannot prove this horizontal as an outcome, because you are creating circular reasoning. And it is also begging the question in this instance. So this is another very bad argument. It's even worse than this modus tollens, I would say, because it is blatant begging the question.
Yeah, but it's like a magic trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's these magic tricks using angles and geometry and stuff that people, they think they're not really capable of it. And when it's explained simply, I think anyone is capable of understanding it. But when it's explained like Nathan Oakley explains it, I don't think anybody can understand it, because it literally is nonsense. So it's understandable that there are people out there that think geometry is difficult because they can't follow Nathan Oakley. They can't follow what he's talking about to understand, why it's measured flat. It's because it isn't. It can't be. It's a nonsense for him to say it. So whenever you hear his explanation of it, it may seem like you don't understand geometry or the logic about what he's going on about, but in reality, there's no logic there. There's no geometry. Nathan Oakley is geometrically illiterate. He can't even work out, or he might be able to work out that they think there's a distance to the horizon to measure the adjustment to the angle that he hasn't measured. He might know that, and he's just trying to brush it under the carpet so people don't know that that's what they're doing. But I don't think so. I think Nathan Oakley's illiterate. I don't think he knows. I think he's completely unaware of how it works, and that's why they've had to ban us from going over there, in case Nathan Oakley starts asking himself these questions. How do we do this? If Nathan starts asking them, then they're in trouble, because nobody's going to be able to answer him. They're going to have to point out, like, Nathan, 10th man has led you up the garden path. He's given you a non-argument and told you it's the best argument ever. You've got a proof of flat Earth resting on this ridiculous concept that 10th man's give you, based on the back of him buying a load of books. You think money buys arguments? It might do in 10th man's case. He might have given enough money to Nathan Oakley to keep him happy. It's coming to bite him in the ass now, though. Oh, I was only after helping the flat earthers, really. Not really asked about Nathan Oakley anymore. Hopefully the flat earthers might be able to learn. I think they've got an idea that Nathan Oakley's full of shit. QE definitely. I don't know why I did that. Discord. Must be refreshing the connection or something. I feel sorry for flat earthers, to be honest. There's a lot of people out there with egos that want to be able to be the saviour of flat earth, and for which they're willing, it seems, to lie to people, or just to express their own particular delusions. And because of the way the system of the arena is set up, people get muted. Certain people are favoured with their conversations or whatever that you may have heard but they're regulars. They're allowed, you know, their nonsense is what fills the airwaves. They can be relied upon to be there. And yeah, they might get triggered about straight lines and certain things about models, assuming that everybody that comes into the arena is as obsessed as they are about their particular models that they have. There's a lot of people that are interested with the model, though, with the model arena. The never-ending battle. False dichotomy.
Endless conversations which start with nothing and end with nothing. So that's every day. So by the way, people are not expressing their own views. They are just repeating, let's say, current narrative, flat Earth narrative, or globe Earth narrative. And rinse and repeat. It's just boring, really. And at the same time, they cannot answer simple questions.
Have you not noticed it changing, though? I mean, do you keep up to date within the arena? Or do you just sort of keep up to date on the, like, the YouTubes?
Not very much. Not very. Sometimes I watch something, but not not very often. So really, so I'm not up to date with modern
there's an interesting
censorship.
one that we've been looking over. Let me see if I can get this.
Which one?
It's biblical cosmology. I've been interested in this for a bit. Ever since Dave Weiss and I don't know who else it was that, you know, when they set up the Church of the Flat Earth, Dean
Odell, Greg Locke.
Yeah, and Greg Locke, that one. Yeah, check this one out, Paper. You should have a listen to this one. I don't know whether you've
I've heard of this guy, of course, and
Will
he was
Duffy.
lately. Yes, he
Well,
was
this is
announcing this Antarctica he's paying.
Right. Well, this is before he came out as the guy. In fact, this is the one where he lied about not knowing who it was. Right. But it's not for that reason. This is the actual backwards and forwards of the biblical cosmology. It's quite interesting, I think. I particularly like Sean, the other guy. I would like to have a chat with that sort of person, I think, going forward. Because I think our time has been done within this flat Earth, globe Earth arena. I'm listening to the conversation tried to have this morning. I was going in there to have conversation with other people, but it became obvious that there are people in there that you just don't want to have to talk to, but they're the ones that take up the conversation. Probably for a reason, right? So I ended up having a conversation with Dawn again for the God knows how many times. And I don't know whether that's, like what he's meant to do. But if that's going to occur, then I'm not going to be able to have any conversations with anybody in these arenas. We've been kicked out of 24/7 flat Earth debate. And if we ever go over there, it looks like Dawn's going to be telling us that we don't know what straight is and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to have to find conversations in different places, and I think there's conversations to be had with those people. Get that one in the YouTube chat. I've reserved judgment, Mike, until I've actually had a word with him. I think there's people who are in this arena, obviously, for... I could never understand why people are so hung up on models. And it's become obvious that certain people are hung up on the globe, certain people are hung up on flat Earth. Other people might be interested in it, some quite interested in it, other people not really interested in it. There's a massive variance of how obsessed people are about the shape of the Earth. Now, some people are fanatics, and they're the ones that do tend to be the loudest. I'm not too sure whether this attempt at Antarctica and the sun, whether that's like a shout or somebody who's come to conclusions that is a way to get a solution. It seems a little bit strange to me, but each to their own. I do know that that amount of money could get a lot of people doing Realising Euclid. That's the truth. Could put a lot of tests in schools and stuff for that amount of money. Whether people would want that, I don't know.
I have no idea why they are doing that for proving something. For me, at least, it would be much cheaper to, especially in a country like United States, where you can go a long path with gyroscope. You can prove or disprove whatever you want. Having operating gyroscope, you can from east coast to west coast with gyroscope. You can prove if it is this horizontal is horizontal all the way or not. You can do that.
Isn't that what Bob did though? They got drift within the gyroscope.
No, it is lasers, fiber optic something gyro. This is not this normal gyroscope. He was talking about different gyroscope, optical gyroscope. I'm talking about normal mechanical gyroscope. So it's very easy. In fact, you just have to obtain a working gyroscope within gimbals. So you need some, not only this toy, let's say, gyroscope, but gyroscope on gimbals and working all the way from, let's say, from East Coast to West Coast. So that would be kind of a trip. So it would take maybe even 1 week or whatever, because you don't need to fly. You can go with your car with this gyroscope on board. That would explain many things. For example, that the Earth is not a globe. If it would maintain the same position from East Coast to West Coast, that would be an answer that it cannot be a globe. It would not prove flat Earth, of course, but it would disprove the globe. But nobody is talking about that. It is taboo Don't speak about gyroscope.
Would they be able to justify a way for it to do what they wanted it to do, both in reality and on the globe? I think they could. I think they could quite easily, like they do with the water level. They can just imagine it being the same as reality on their model. It's as easy as that, I think.
Maybe, but I cannot see. Maybe there is a way to overcome this, but in my mind, there is no way. If a gyroscope is working as it is working, it is very easy to check. So, for example, if Charles, Flat Earth Math, is saying that it is practically impossible to prove if verticals are tilting or not, I would say it is not impossible, because you can use gyroscope and you can check that, because gyroscope keeps rigidity in space. And no matter what you have, it is completely independent from gravity. So you cannot take into account, or you don't need to take into account gravity, or spherical gravity, or Newtonian gravity. It doesn't matter, because it is rotating gyroscope is creating non-inertial frame of reference. So it is independent from any other forces acting upon it. So that would be very easy. And in fact, this is what they use in aeroplanes. They, of course, they say that there is some device that it is preventing gyroscope, or because it needs precision, so it prevents from that. But I'm talking about normal gyroscope, so without any special device to prevent precession. So that would discover if it is tilting or it is not tilting with gyroscope. And it would be much, much cheaper than this 45 grants for one person to Antarctica. It's just... So it would take, they say, it would take a few days in Antarctica, and in these few days you can go from east coast to west coast much cheaper. Just you need just operating gyroscope. That would all the time 24/7 operating gyroscope. So that's it for me, at least.
Yeah, you could do it in a bus, couldn't you? Pick a
Yeah,
few
of
people
course.
up.
Yes, in the
Yeah,
bus.
they could do like a party bus going across America, inviting people to come and look at the gyroscope as you're going across. And
Yes, you can
verify
film.
it. Yeah,
You can film for 24/7 this gyroscope, its behavior, all the time. So that would be, I would say, easy and cheap. But nobody is talking about that.
yeah, I might put it to him. See whether he wants to do that, a bus trip across America. I don't think it wouldn't be that good in the UK. I don't know whether what you'd be able to tell.
It's doable, of course. In fact, you can do that anywhere, but maybe in United States it's easy because of. In fact, anywhere it would be easy, I think. So I was talking about the United States because it is from East Coast to West Coast. It's like over 2,000 miles. So that would for sure expose or not expose declination from horizontal, for original horizontal, because the point of doing that with gyroscope is that it would keep, because it keeps rigidity. So initial horizontal would be the last horizontal on other side of America, because if it is operating all the time, so it would keep this original orientation. That's the point of doing this with gyroscope. No matter what, it will keep the same rigid horizontal line. If you establish horizontal, let's say at East Coast, and it is always operating to West Coast, so it will keep that position. So it will show declination or not. So if it will show no declination, that would mean that there is no curvature, as they say. And if it would be a declination, so it would show that there is declination from this original orientation. That's it. So this is how gyroscope operates. So it's simple. No rocket science.
How do you fix that initial reference, initial horizontal with the gyroscope on the East Coast, let's say?
It is doing automatically. This is how it's done on aeroplanes. So when aircraft is starting, so the air is going from the front of outside of aeroplane, is going into some kind of tube or whatever, and this air is causing motion, rotation of gyroscope. And then so as it is on the ground, so in this horizontal position, it starts to rotate, and then it keeps this rigidity all the time. So that's why you can, if you are starting and you are changing your angle, so it shows on this this artificial horizon, because artificial horizon is based on gyroscope. It's because this gyroscope is in the fixed position. So as you are moving and leaning back or towards Earth or away from Earth, right to left, or you are leaning right or left, it is always showed on gyroscope, because it keeps rigid position to the initial horizontal. This is how a gyroscope is operating. It's very, very simple thing.
I think that's a tough one to push, that.
Yes. I think it, because it is so simple, so it is too simple.
Well, it's similar to the level and the
Yeah,
horizontal point.
Too
It's
simple,
always
yeah.
on that point, isn't it? And they can monadicize the point like no one, like ultra local, at the center of the gimbal or whatever, right?
Yes, there is some people I have heard that say they, of course, from the globe there is no horizontal; it is bendizontal. So it keeps rigidity to this bendizontal. It is impossible. It is not. It is not how a gyroscope works, because it is based on its independency, because it is rotation. Its rotation creates a frame of reference, non-inertial. because it is spinning. So the centrifugal force is distributed in all directions. The faster rotation is, the more rigid is in space. So if you can just overcome gravity and other forces with faster rotation, you can be sure that it will not conform to any force applied to that. And that's why, and in addition to that, it is on gimbals, so it is really completely independent on from other forces. So it's like in the air. So putting a gyroscope in gimbals gives you this, let's say, freedom, that it is rotating, and on gimbals it will not move from this position, because gimbals will prevent that changing position. So this is a very, very simple device, really.
Yes.
You better start crowdfunding, I think, then, Paper. I think with the Antarctica thing, he's paying for one or two, one
Two.
Glover
I think
and
he might have to do two. Do you reckon? I was thinking about
and
that. We watched it the other day with Jaren. Do you think Thingy's going to back down? Dave McKeegan. So Jaren and Dave can go together, or Jaren and Whitsit. I think it'd be more like Jaren and Whitsit, right? They'd have a lads holiday.
I listened to that, not to the end, but it is like established that it would be Jeran and Whitsit, but there is no confirmation, because Jeran said that he will ask Whitsit to go with him.
No. He said Will's going to go and talk to Whitsit next and offer Whitsit.
Okay.
But Jaren said he wouldn't be willing to go on his own.
well, he doesn't want to shack up with Dave McKeegan.
Yeah. I think
same tent.
Whitsit might say the same thing. You know, like, I'm not too keen on going with Dave McKeegan, and I don't really want to go on my own. But if somebody else were to come with us that I did happen to like, hint, then, you know, I think they might be willing to get rid of Dave McKeegan altogether and just Will go with them. I mean, why does Will need Dave McKeegan to go there with him as well?
I would say that from what I've heard, this guy, this Will Duffy, will not go there with them.
No, he's going.
Maybe, but this is
how's he not
going
to go? It's his baby. He's got to go.
Yeah, it sounded strange for me, but this is what he said. I don't know if this is his last word, but this is what he said, that he would not go, but he would pay for, I think, 2 persons from Globe side and 2 persons from Flat Earth side.
No way.
Yes, one each, I think he said.
Did he say? He didn't say that. I think he just wanted to send somebody else. He's got to go on it, hasn't he?
I'm not sure. From what I've heard, that he's not going, not going to go. You know,
that's ridiculous. If he's not going, that's ridiculous. There's something wrong if he's not going on his own trip that he's devised because he wants to get a solution on something. he's done all of the checks. He was telling Jaren. He's done everything. He's researched it all. He's got to be going. There's no way he's not going.
Yes, for me it sounded strange because he supposedly told this crew, this excursion crew, that they will be able to leave the tent
And get
during
drones
night time
and stuff like that. Yeah, he's going.
Yeah. Yes, but this is what I've heard. Maybe it is. Maybe I misheard, or something's going on. Maybe it is not established yet who is going, but this is what I've heard. Because also Geran said when Duffy left his channel or hangout, he said that it is not going to happen anyway, that he doesn't believe that it will really happen. So something's fishy going on here because.
Well, they're very suspicious of lots of things, and rightfully so. They're worried about disappearing and never returning. That's one of them, and the fact that McToon's got quite a lot of influence in the situation. They don't want to be just playing McToon's game if McToon is the one who's behind it all. He's certainly a big advisor for Will Duffy, his buddy.
Are they?
Well, he calls him his buddy, like him many times. He said my buddy, and like on that Kingdom in Context, he was messaging him. My buddy says, and it wasn't until later he said that McToon is my buddy. And he said, "Oh, that explains lots of things." Yes, it's an interesting, unusual thing. I found it unusual as we were listening to the Kingdom in Context and Will Duffy, that they both had so much information about one for the globe and one for the flat Earth. Seemed to have more information about that than they did about the biblical stuff. And much more research, Did you know about Simmons? Not, what did you think when Moses said, la 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 la? And Duffy knew all the rebuttals to the arguments and what happened when somebody shone a laser here and there, and it's seemingly, in a couple of years, he says he's been around, he's covered all the arguments and seems to know what to answer when somebody talks about a certain situation.
Yeah, that's what interests me the most about this biblical cosmology sort of thing. I'm not too sure why they should be putting a Earth shape thing upon the religion. I mean, it is as though that there is a religion already, right? Flat Earth religion, the globe religion. May as well incorporate it into your religion. And then, I don't know, within that biblical cosmology thing, I mean, I'm only just beginning to get a grip on it, but could they be making a new denomination?
Yes, it might be like new Scientologists or whatever. Who knows?
Well, within the religion thing, right? These they have to take on. Is it a denomination that they were doing? Is that what they do?
I don't know very well, but I think that in United States it's not very difficult to establish church. You are just establishing church, and you can call it denomination or whatever, because I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
Will Duffy says he's non-denominational,
Yeah, so that
yes,
means they're
but
not
so
signed
he's
up to anything yet. So
affiliated to
yeah.
any particular belief system or
Well,
group
would
of
there
people.
be anyone that they could sign up to if they held these models? Like, I can understand how the firmament and those sort of things have a lean towards a flat Earth type model, right? But I'm not so sure whether there's a denomination for the globe model within them, and does that mean that they're gonna have to make a
yeah,
new denomination to
that would be
incorporate globe?
yeah, it is very very far fetched because there would be no indication for globe in the Bible. Of course, there is no firm indication for flat Earth.
No, I know, yeah. But
But
like that,
but
once you watch that paper, you might think differently. Because I didn't really think of how flat Earth can and do that. But this guy, he's a pastor, obviously the Kingdom in Context guy, and he's going with the understanding of the firmament. Now, if you do take that firmament on within the context of the Bible, then you're going to have a problem with NASA and that cosmology, right? A direct conflict.
yes, yeah.
And
That would
that's
be
sort of
yeah.
that gives me an understanding that this biblical thing, there's much more division within it than initially you seem, because we've come from the flat Earth, globe Earth, ongoing circular argument. But it means a lot more to the religious people who've taken on the firmament. That means a lot more, doesn't it? You're not going to have
Yes,
this circular argument and an allowance for it, because there's a definite difference between the two.
yes, I agree. But still, I would say that all ancient, let's say, until NASA or until heliocentric model. So before heliocentric model, every model was with firmament or some kind of firmament. So it's going just along with all ancient models. So nobody claimed that there is no firmament or just outer space, as they say. Nobody, because in fact it is impossible. This is illogical, because it would assume that the universe is infinitely large. Because if there is no limit, so it is infinite. And this firmament would be the limit of universe. So nobody before heliocentric model claimed that there is no firmament. And of course, it is going directly against NASA. Yes.
Well, Will Duffy puts it as the crust of the Earth.
But I understand. I don't understand, because as I have seen him on this debate with someone, I cannot remember with whom, but he was on the globe side, so he was advocating for globe within Bible. So I don't understand. Did he switch? He flipped to other side? I don't know.
No, he puts the firmament as the crust of the Earth, the sphere thing. You'll have to watch that thing. That's why it's quite a good a video to watch, that one. because it is.
Okay,
I think it's
I
one of
will.
the most. I mean, they do. One guy tries to keep it within the biblical cosmology, and obviously it leaks into flat Earth versus globe Earth a lot. But they do try and keep it within the biblical, or one guy does particularly. So it's good to watch on a couple of levels, like on how people communicate and whenever they think that they're talking about biblical cosmology, but it's not really. It's just flat versus globe, and
Yes, but if he is claiming some kind of a spherical dome over the Earth, that would be not.
no.
No?
The Earth is the firmament.
Oh, so
Will.
this.
That's like it's a new
No, it's
denomination type thing, right? It's a
no.
new
No,
thought.
it is not new. It is. I've heard that before in 2016. It is just hollow or this concave Earth.
No,
So
because he separates. He has two different ones. There's the original firmament, and then there's the firmament of the heavens, in which the birds and all of them are within. So yeah, you'll have to watch it for yourself. And I'm hoping to have a conversation with the guy. So, I'm interested myself into this sort of stuff at the minute.
But still, where birds are flying, it's not called firmament. It is just it is called sometimes heaven, but not firmament. So it is okay. I have to hear to listen to that, because there are certain words in the Bible, and it is, while it is sometimes not clear what it is meant to be, but it is clear what it is not meant to be to mean, because there are some clear statements in the Bible, so you can draw some conclusions, and some conclusions are impossible from the biblical, let's say, standpoint. I have to listen to him, what he is creating from that, because I've heard many stupid things that people are talking about Bible and apocalypse and whatever. So I have to listen to that.
Interesting. I'm getting interested in the idea, because what we're watching at the minute, strange times. I don't know how long this sort of stuff's been going on, whether it's only made visible to a certain few, but we've got a model being brought into the school system. We've got models being brought into a faith-based religion thing. It may seem like this model's a little bit innocuous, and there's not a lot of people really interested in it. It's a strange quirk, but the globe seems to be going everywhere. I mean, it always has been, but it's stretching further down the line.
Yes, for me it is. I'm suspicious because modern science says this globe, and many, let's say, modern so-called Christians and also so-called Catholics and others are going with that model, and others are going with, let's say, flat Earth model. And maybe in the future it would be that if you are not in this false dichotomy, you will be rendered as unpious.
Yeah, I think so.
And unpiety would be or shall be punished, like Socrates. You are unpious and you will be punished for unpiety. Who knows?
Yeah, Sean Hawkins is trying to get me for that, for not agreeing to one or the other. And when Sean Hawkins can sort of hand out false dichotomies to you and tell you you're forced to choose one or the other, otherwise, you know, bad things are going to be said about you. Well then, welcome to 2024. Thank you very much for the memberships there, Gords. It's another 5 people. I think we should definitely be trying to work out what we can agree on. But as we've been showing over the past 5-6 years, it seems like nobody can agree on anything. And even if you attempt to try and get somebody to agree on something, they'll call you names and all sorts. Banish you. Cut you out of the conversation for trying to get an agreement. This is where we can all start off from. No, you have to be banished. You're not allowed to find any agreement with anybody on anything, particularly not even the straight line. Imagine that, coming to an arena, learning all sorts of things, but then finding out that you can't come to agreement with anybody about a straight line.
Okay, I will drop to bed. So
Okay.
good night. Thank you very much.
Very much, Paper. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Gods. I mean, to me, this is a wondrous sort of thing at the minute. I'm still learning so much. More about people now, though. Since I think we all know the arguments. And I think we all know that the new arguments, the ones that we have, are being cut out because nobody can deal with them. These real arguments. Things that we can, like, the difference is, right, the arguments that we have, they're not bickering arguments. They're arguments for discussion, to be able to come to an agreement at the end of the argument. That's the whole point of them. Then once you can come to an agreement and you come to a realization that you can prove something, at that point you can start building. You can turn that proof into a lemma and then build further, and you can progress. But as we found, you can't come to an agreement with anyone, particularly within this arena. And that's why it's time for us to just leave it. I mean, they're still going to be obsessed with us, right? They're still going to be calling us names like Sean does and like Nathan Oakley does and QE. And they're all going to be upset with us when we say you can't measure flatness and we come to this. But at least we've got a foundation that we can build on. We can progress. These people in this arena, they can't even come to an agreement on the most basic thing. And that's pretty sad. Since we're meant to be about communication and progression, we should be learning more than we are. Well, I am. I say, I'm never stopping learning. The amount of stuff we've got together, it's putting it all together to move forward. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know whether you're in this or out of it. I've never considered myself as part of it, but I know I'm in this. I'm fascinated by it. Fascinated by the people within this arena. And since that's where you come to your learning. It's like, as expressed in Plato's cave, the understanding, the turning of the head, the finding the light. But then there's the return to the cave. You have to go back in. It's a necessity. It's like something that's told about within the story. Can't just go out wandering out there. It's your duty to go back down to see what you can do. And I think that's what we're all doing. We're all wandering around the cave, fascinated by the people in it. Yeah, I like that. You might not like the horrors that the pursuit of truth will bring. The uncomfortable truth still yet to come. That's right. There's nothing good comes with truth. Because there's a massive gain from the lie. The truth is honest, and you know, you can't earn money from truth. Nothing can be gained monetarily from the truth. You can only gain monetarily through deception. At least, I don't know, I'd like to be challenged on that. It would be nice to think, you know, I think you could say karma could bring good fortune and stuff, but don't think you can monetize truth. That's the thing. Yeah, hardest thing to sell on earth is the truth. Well, I think that's because Logos says you know, you can't control this. You can't monetize this. Shouldn't try and monetize it. Should be there for everyone. So it's difficult. What time have you been going long enough? Gods, I call it Logos. It's helped me a lot. Once you give yourself up to it, it's yeah, it's sort of freeing. Time for the arena to shift, I think. It's pretty obvious that, you know, that old arena's had its time. There isn't really any debate. People know it. They've had enough of the lies. People trying to talk shit. Who knows what's to come, but I think people can feel it. You can tell. I can, anyway. They don't want what we've got. And that means for only one reason, right? They've got to be scared of it. Because it's not as if we're nasty or anything. You know, if Sean Hawkins and all of the 24/7 and flat earth debate guys, if all of them are thinking the same thing, then we've got to be on to a winner. I'm with you, gods. Tells me things as well, though. Helps me out. So it's that and more. Protagoras says that man is the measure of all things. Don't know what that means. I'll have to have a look into that. It'll be some philosophical significance. Yeah. That's right, gods. I think all they have to have done is to be subbed and have to click that little link. That's cool. No-Rad's got a little bit of a love affair going on with Wittgenstein, which I can understand a bit. So if anybody does want to come in, it is the weekend. I think it's UFC. We're going to be gearing up to start playing PAX Day, so we are going to be changing the gaming, all of the music, the entertainment, all of that's going. Of course, we're still going to be doing the tests and everything, but on the levels changing. There's not that many people, let's face it. We've got our own little crowd of people, but the community that we've got, jump into Discord. Don't believe everything you're told by people out there, particularly 24/7 flat earthers or flat earth debate guys, or if any of the globers tell you anything about us. Just come in and make your decisions for yourself. Let me get a buster. Anybody got any requests? If not, I'm going to put Who Will on, because I really like this. Oh, about two conflicting truths. We've not had that for a bit, have we? That's another good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching. Like I say, I've got some stuff. But I don't know whether anybody be interested. Who's interested in watching me chat to people about straight lines and shit? Because I've got a few conversations, but I'm not too sure how interested people are. It's people talking about the not that. Anybody interested in that?
Well, I like them, but about anything else.
I might start, but yeah, I can't be asked going through them too much, so I might just clip the top and one end and the other end and just start putting them out. Start doing some short ones. Okay, thank you very much for coming. I might put something out over the weekend. Might not. I don't know. I'm going to go out with Buster, Two Conflicting Truths. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in. As always, jump in Discord. Come and have a chat. And we'll see you probably on Monday.
Let's give it a go. Everybody's got a path to choose. You can critically think or give yourself to accepted information too. Well, you got it right. Everybody's got their own way to go. Fast to what you know. Don't let their opinions throw you off. You got to stay the course you're on. You got it right. Everybody's got their own way to go. Comes the time you have to choose. You can't hold two conflicting truths. Eliminate the wrong path to take. You'll find the answers that you need. Contemplate before you make a choice. You got to let your voice be heard. You'll never see this place again. You got it right. Everybody's got their own way to go. trying not to enable their thoughts. Got another problem with this bridge to cross. No matter what I say, they're doomed. You got it right. Everybody's got their own